Welcome to this explainer. Look, whether you're a teacher trying to reach literally every single student in your room or a parent supporting your child's unique learning journey, you are in the right place. We're unpacking some highly practical source material today from Booty, an organization entirely focused on transforming educational spaces. By the end of this explainer, you're going to have a clear blueprint of what an inclusive classroom actually looks like in practice, why it's absolutely critical for modern learners, and exactly how you can help build one.
Okay, let's dive into this. Right off the bat, we've got to address a massive, honestly very common misconception that tends to derail conversations about modern learning. Is inclusive education only for special needs students? No, absolutely not. It's a fundamental shift in how we approach learning that actually benefits all students in the room. It's not some isolated pull-out program, it's a comprehensive environment designed for absolutely everyone. But to really grasp why this matters, we have to look at the bedrock of how we teach today.
Section 1. Foundation of Modern Education. Today's classrooms are these wonderfully diverse ecosystems, right? They're no longer homogeneous spaces, and as our learning environments evolve, that traditional one-size-fits-all model of teaching, it simply doesn't hold up anymore. The ultimate goal of modern education is making learning fair and accessible to absolutely everyone. We're talking about ensuring that every single learner, regardless of their specific physical or cognitive abilities, their cultural background, or their unique learning style, feels completely valued and supported the second they walk through those doors. It's about creating a space where diversity isn't just accommodated, it's celebrated.
Section 2. Defining the inclusive classroom.
So what does this actually look like on a random Tuesday morning in the middle of the semester? Well, for a very long time, the traditional approach was all about trying to fix or change the student to fit a standard mold, which often resulted in separating kids based on their perceived abilities. And this brilliantly illustrates the crucial paradigm shift, because the inclusive model flips that entirely. Instead of changing the student, we adapt the teaching. We modify the instruction, the environment, and the tools so that literally everyone can learn together in the same exact space. We can unpack this into a very simple, incredibly powerful rule of 3. First up, every child belongs. There are 0 outsiders here. Second, the teaching actively adapts to what the learner needs, not the other way around. Think of something as simple as offering an audiobook right alongside physical books for a reading assignment. And third, diversity is actually viewed as a strength. It's a massive asset to the classroom's dynamic. Using this framework, kids with specific impairments get a robust, high-quality education, while every other student simultaneously benefits, both academically and socially, from that diverse environment.
Section 3. Why inclusive education matters.
Look, building an inclusive environment takes real effort, so we have to look closely at the data-backed benefits that justify doing it. And as you'll notice, the advantages go far, far beyond just keeping up with schoolwork. So, the crucial point is that we're talking about shaping holistic, capable human beings. Research clearly shows that inclusive education drastically improves social skills and deepens empathy among all students. It naturally encourages collaboration and respect, simply because students are interacting daily with peers who experience the world differently. It promotes fundamental equity, and honestly, most importantly, it perfectly prepares learners for the real-world diversity they're inevitably going to encounter in their future workplaces and communities. Plus, when instructors undergo professional development in these methods, it gives them immense confidence to handle absolutely any classroom dynamic.
Section 4. Strategies for inclusive classrooms. Let's get into the how.
Theory is fantastic, but application is everything. Right? If you're an educator or a parent, you don't need highly complicated, convoluted processes. You need practical, actionable strategies that you can start practicing on purpose right now. One of the best philosophies out there is Universal Design for Learning, or UDL. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it translates academic jargon into a simple, everyday philosophy. All this really means is that you're offering multiple pathways for a student to succeed. You give them different ways to engage with the material, different ways to process it, and different ways to prove to you that they actually understand it. You're not locking them into one single method of success, like a standard written test.
Beyond UDL, there are 3 other core methodologies that instructors can purposefully use to foster this kind of inclusivity every single day. We've got differentiated instruction, inclusive classroom management, and practical classroom techniques. Let's break these down rapidly but clearly so you can see exactly how they function on the ground.
First up is differentiated instruction. You can think of this as the ultimate flexibility tool. It means you, as the instructor, are actively changing the content, the pace, and the assessment style to fit the room you're in.
For instance, if one group processes a math concept instantly and another needs a bit more time with visual blocks to absorb it, adjusting the pace ensures that nobody gets left behind, and equally, nobody is sitting there bored. It makes the entire lesson accessible to varying speeds of learning.
Next, we look at classroom management. Now, when we say inclusive management, we certainly aren't talking about chaos, okay? We're talking about incredibly safe and welcoming spaces. This relies on fundamental, really straightforward tools, setting very clear, easily understandable rules, actively praising good behavior rather than just punishing bad behavior, and utilizing flexible schedules that actually accommodate the natural rhythms and needs of the students in the room. And finally, we have practical techniques for everyday use. We're talking about integrating visual aids, leaning heavily on collaborative group learning, and utilizing supportive technical or physical tools. What's amazing about these techniques is that while they're often specifically designed to help special needs students process information, they end up working wonderfully for the whole room. Visual aids help everyone remember better. Collaborative learning helps everyone build teamwork skills. It's literally a universal win.
Section 5. Bringing it all together. For inclusive education to truly succeed, it can't just be a solo mission for the classroom teacher. It's like a giant puzzle. It requires a powerful partnership. Specifically, a vital collaboration between parents and teachers. On one side, parents are learning the language and techniques of inclusive education so they can seamlessly help their kids learn at home. On the other side, teachers are gaining real-world structured resources to manage their classrooms effectively. Formal training perfectly bridges this gap between home and school, ensuring the student has a unified, solid support system.
Let's move to and see how this builds. The source material we're unpacking today from Booty outlines comprehensive online training programs designed for both new and seasoned educators, as well as parents. These formats are game changers. They provide flexible learning schedules so participants can learn at their own pace. They offer affordable access to gain credible certification. And most importantly, they focus on real-life practices. You're getting step-by-step instructions that can be used immediately, rather than just getting bogged down in abstract theory.
To wrap up our analysis of this material, I want to present a powerful quote directly from the text that brilliantly summarizes the core message of this entire explainer. There is no trend for inclusive classrooms. They are the future of education. Wow. This isn't a passing fad. It's not a temporary teaching style. It is the absolutely necessary evolution of how we share knowledge and build community in a deeply diverse world.
Which leaves us with one final provocative question for you to consider. How will you adopt your own teaching or your own parenting to meet this future? Whether it's employing universal design for learning, improving your classroom management, or enrolling in training programs like Booties to get certified, the tools are out there waiting for you. Take a confident step today toward making education fair, accessible, and truly inclusive for absolutely everyone. Thank you so much for learning with us.